Guys, before you watch this video, I want to make something super clear and just so you understand what you're about to watch. We are racing a Porsche Taycan, Lucid Air, and Tesla Model S, the big three long-range electric vehicles, from Colorado to Las Vegas. But in full transparency, this first episode is a bit of a fail. We ran into a major issue. And so what you're going to see are three separate videos on this race to Vegas. On the way out to Vegas from Colorado, we have this video where we go from basically Fort Collins to Green River, Utah. You'll see how that goes. You'll learn all about the cars. You're going to basically go through all the testing procedures, the specs on the cars, the battery sizes, and then our initial start is basically halfway, the first half of the trip. It's a long video, but you'll learn about how we're optimizing the car, how charging infrastructure is working, all of that. Part two, we will finish off the race to Vegas, but then part three is the big one. Part three is where we had everything lined up, the stars aligned, and we had the most epic thing we've ever done on Out of Spec. The craziest race in Out of Spec history, a result no one could have predicted. I know I sound like I'm talking this up. It's truly crazy. So you're going to see three parts on this race to Vegas. I'm going to get them edited, get them out to you as soon as possible because they're all truly epic in their own right. But keep in mind, this first and second episode, our way out to Vegas, is really us learning the cars, optimizing them. We really were great at optimizing. You'll see that through the video. But part three, when we race back to Colorado, is where it all came together and it was next level. So enjoy this long video. I hope you enjoy learning about the cars, seeing how we're using them, truly optimizing every last drop of juice in this race to Vegas. And you guys will have to wait and see who wins. Let's see what happens in episode one because it's truly a disaster. I'll give you a little teaser of episode 3 though, because that's where it all comes together. 40%, that would be, oh my gosh. Ryan coming in hot, full brakes. I'll help him out. We'll get the charger in for him. Let's go. Oh no, and Coleton's leaving. Okay, we gotta go as fast as possible. Guys, it is the big one. We are doing another race to Vegas here on Out of Spec Motoring. That is where we take a few cars and drive from here in northern Colorado, about 800, a little over 800 miles to Las Vegas. We set a speed cap and basically we have drivers who know how to optimize electric vehicles and we see who can get there first. So we call it Race to Vegas. It's one of my favorite things that we've done. We're doing the second one now, but we are pulling out all the big boys. These are the holy trinity of the EV world right now, if you will. We have the Lucid Air Grand Touring, 516 miles of range, one of the fastest charging electric cars we've ever tested. Only thing faster charging than this was Hummer EV. So over 350 kilowatt charging speeds, over 500 miles of EPA rated range. That is a monster. I can't wait to see how it does. I'll walk through the pros and cons of each car because that car also has some cons that might mean it isn't going to win this race. We genuinely don't know who's going to win. We also have the Tesla Model S back here. We'll talk about the spec, the version that we're using, everything like that. And then we have the Porsche Taycan, which is the large battery, rear drive, aero wheel, fully optimized car, the car that we smashed at the time, the Cannonball record, New York to Los Angeles. Not this exact car, but a similar one. And we all know Taycan's just a road tripping machine, but it's also 4 years old now, 3 years old. It is, you know, sort of older tech, but still can hold its own in this arena. So I'll walk you through all the cars. I'll walk you through the challenge. I'll introduce you to the drivers, and then we are going on a race to Vegas. This is part 1 of 2, so it's a little bit of the prep work and the initial drive. Again, we won't know who wins in this video, but you'll see how it all goes. And then part 2 will launch just a few days after this, which will pick up from wherever we leave off in the drive today, and you'll see the winner as we go into Las Vegas. First off, the cars. I want to explain what we're going to be driving there, the pros and cons of each, and then I'll run through some of the challenge details throughout. So let me give you my impressions on each of the cars and why I genuinely don't know who's going to win this challenge. So we're actually all here at Clear Detailing, where Coleton, who runs the Out of Spec detailing channel, has a bunch of charging available. So we're full charging all the cars here. Last time we left from our old office on the north side of Fort Collins, a lot of people have asked, what about your new office? Well, this has been such a pain in the butt trying to get a space for us to put all the cars. It's in progress, but it's slower than we expected. So we're temporarily here at the Clear Detailing building, and thanks to Coleton for charging up all the cars to 100%. So when we leave in the morning, it's actually the nighttime, we prep the cars, wash the cars, did the things, set all the tire pressures tonight. When we leave in the morning, we'll be good to go. This is the reason we're doing this run, the Lucid Air Grand Touring. This is my dad's car, Out of Spec Dave on YouTube. And well, technically we help pay for it a little bit. So it's ours as well for us to use for the summer, but it's going back to him. And I was like, before it goes back to my dad, we need to run a race against the other big dogs here. And the Lucid Air Grand Touring is the longest range and fastest charging electric car according to Lucid, even though Hummer EV charges faster. So I don't know what that's about, but and also some of the semi-truck stuff. But the numbers are still incredible. 516 miles of EPA rated range, 112 kilowatt hour battery pack. So it means the efficiency is huge in the EPA cycle, and charging performance has a big peak. So you'd think instantly this would just win. But we've learned this car so much. We've put 12,000 miles on it. Funny enough, all of these cars have almost identical mileage and identical usage. A lot of them are fairly heavy DC fast charging between all three. We drove Anna's Taycan pretty much across the country to get it back here. This car has been all across the country, mostly DC fast charged, and same with my Model S. Many trips to California, mostly DC charging with Tesla supercharging. So the usage on all the cars is fairly similar. So the spec on the Lucid is as much advantage as we could give to it. It's the factory aero wheels, which is the most efficient setup for this car. Again, choosing the long range model, not the performance model. This is giving this car every last drop of chance that we can. But in learning the Lucid, anecdotally, I can say, yes, it has a very fast charging, but the curve sucks. There's no way about it. Compared to especially Taycan, this can actually, in our 10% challenge, I don't know if that video's gone up yet, this actually takes on less energy than the Taycan does in a 15-minute charging window. Now, it's more efficient, which helps, and that's what matters, is your amount of distance that you're getting for the amount of time that you're plugged in. But ultimately, the curve isn't class leading. The C rate of the charging curve isn't pushing it nearly as hard as Porsche is, and in some cases, the Model S is a little bit better as well. There's also a thing called the Signet Surge going on right now. When you buy a car, you buy into a charging network. Lucid has not announced North American charging standard support yet, mostly because Tesla has not offered a easily acceptable 1,000-volt solution. This is a very high battery voltage. It's 924 volts when full, or 926 when full. It's way up there. And version 3 superchargers, at least at the time of this recording, haven't been adapted to support 1,000-volt charging, which means Lucid would be stuck using the onboard booster, which would limit you to 50 kilowatts. And I expect Tesla to announce 1,000-volt support for V3, and of course V4 will have it supercharging. But at this time they don't, which means Lucid can't switch, which puts them at a huge disadvantage because you have to rely on Electrify America. It's their partner network. And to be totally honest, this whole trip, a lot of it comes down to the charging infrastructure. But that is very realistic because if you're going to drive a Lucid on a road trip, you have to use that charging infrastructure. And it's failing in many places. And that puts this car at a huge disadvantage. The Signet chargers in particular have this huge surging power that really affect the way that the car charges. It cost us our cannonball run in this car. If Signet chargers just worked with this, we would have had the record, no question, but it didn't. And we were very far behind, and it's just a shame because the car can do so much more than what the infrastructure allows it to do. And I think if they could get the infrastructure in place and they could massage the charging curve and give it a little bit more, could be better. I have heard rumors that the Lucid Air Grand Touring Performance might have a slightly better charging curve, definitely better thermals than this car because I do run into some thermal derate. But yeah, it's all hard to say. Essentially, for this challenge, this is the one we want. The most efficient, with the biggest battery, fast charging. This thing's got it all. And I can't wait to see how it does. The big advantage for this car is going to be that initial charge. I'm going to be able, because I'm going to be driving the Lucid, I'm going to maximize it as best as I can. I'm going to be able to push it past where the Taycan is going to have to charge, even though the Taycan can charge faster, which is where they might catch up. And then we have the Tesla Model S. Now you might notice a big elephant in the room. No aero wheels on this one. This is my car, Tesla Model S Plaid. Coleton's going to be driving this because he drives Tesla, understands how to optimize Tesla, knows the supercharger network, knows the route planner well, when it's trying to steer you wrong, when it's trying to get you there at the perfect state of charge. And we just couldn't find a Model S long range for this test. However, the Plaid and the long range are only 9 miles different in the EPA cycle, so we're very close, about 400 miles EPA. And I've noticed these wheels are significantly lighter than stock. These are the Martian MW05s. You know, we love Martian wheels. It's not the most efficient choice. It's a 20-inch wheel, which is in between the 19s or the 21s that Tesla offers. And I'd love to put the arrows on it. They're actually right up here. But since I upgraded the brakes, the arrows don't fit. So a slight disadvantage to the Model S, but the Model S could easily win this challenge. The reason I say that is the Tesla supercharger network. We know it's going to work for Coleton. We know there's now version 3s all across the Rockies, which when we did the race to Vegas last time, about a year and a half ago, it was a while ago, there were only V2s and there was like maybe 1 or 2 V3 stops. So now Coleton's going to be able to hit brand new version 3 supercharging infrastructure, maximize the 260, 265 kilowatt charging peak speeds that we've seen, and it's got a fairly okay curve. It's still pretty meh, but it charges really well to about 40 to 50%, which is going to give him an easy 150 miles between charging stops. So this car, we think if there's any charging issues, you know, of course the Lucid and the Taycan are going to run into it. This car might win on charging network alone. However, we thought about limiting this car just to CCS charging, but that's not fair. It's not realistic to what consumers would do. You buy a Tesla for the charging infrastructure, for the driver assistance, for the vertically integrated technology, and it works. And I think we'll see that in the race to Vegas. So this could easily win tomorrow. The Lucid could easily win tomorrow. And the Taycan could easily win tomorrow. Now this one, EV enthusiasts will know why this car can win tomorrow because we've done cannonball trips, I've done road trips, we've done everything possible with Taycan to show its true capabilities. And this car is a little bit in a wolf in sheep's clothing, if you will. The numbers on paper don't look good. It's low 200-mile range. It's got the smallest battery pack of the bunch, you know, what, 93 kilowatt hour gross, mid 80 kilowatt hour usable, significantly smaller battery than the Lucid and even smaller than the Model S. But the charging performance of this car, the thermal management of this car is magic. This car will hold a peak speed of 270 kilowatt charging, which is more than the Model S and pretty much more on average than the Lucid based off of our testing throughout its charging cycle. So from 0 to 50% is 10 minutes flat in this car. 0 to 70% is 14 minutes flat. It is a charging machine. And so while I might have to go slower and stretch the range of the Lucid, Ryan is going to be driving this car and basically trying to get to chargers dead and hop and basically do the out-of-spec road trip method. Get in low, get the battery preconditioned at the perfect temperature. He has all the tools in the Porsche control module, the PCM up here, to allow him to get the temperature right at the time he gets to a charger, rip it to 50%, and then head to the next charger. So I can't wait to see what this does. The thing is, the longer the drive that we select, the better the Taycan does, because this wins on charging, and charging is the most important thing on a road trip. The shorter the trip that we have, the more advantage we give to the Lucid, because we can get that big initial full charge. And then, if we were to go New York to LA, basically the Lucid would get that big head start, and then I imagine the Taycan would start catching it over time because of its charging performance. The thing is, what we've chosen for our race to Vegas, I would say, is a very customer use case, realistic road trip of about 800 miles. Now, I'll go out and do 1,000, 1,100, 1,200 mile day easily. We cannonball cars New York to LA. We've been doing it once every year. But those are not customer realistic use cases. anyone realistically buying a Model S, a Lucid, or a Taycan isn't driving through day and through the night. They're going to do a long day trip, overnight at a hotel, and then do another day trip after that. And so that's why we've chosen Las Vegas as our destination, because it, again, just over 800 miles. It's a realistic road trip day, and that's what we're trying to simulate here. All of the cars are, of course, spec'd with the largest battery pack possible. This one's on the Aero wheels, the Lucid's on the Aero wheels. This is the only disadvantage here, where we have the middle size wheel option, the 20-inch wheel, but again, it's lighter, so maybe that will help as well. Ultimately, I don't think the wheel's gonna be the make or break here. And I don't think the Plaid versus a long range is going to be the make or break. If we could have had a long range on Aeros, I would have loved it. But ultimately, this car versus the long range on Aeros might be a 5 or 10 minute difference to Las Vegas. If you optimize both cars, would be my guess. So the run, the challenge, the details, what are we all going to do with these cars? Well, tomorrow morning, we're going to go to bed. These are going to full charge overnight. Tomorrow morning, we'll come in here. We're going to unplug all the cars, plug them back in and re-top charge them again. Just want to calibrate the BMSs, show them what's up top, let them basically top balance. While we're doing that, we're going to just double check tire pressures, make sure everything's good to go, and then we're all going to head out on our route heading west. Now, I'm not sure what the other guys' plans are to optimize. I've given them pointers. I've given Coleton pointers on how to optimize the Model S. I've given Ryan pointers on how to optimize the Taycan. They'll be able to tell you their strategy in this video as we go on, but we have a speed cap of 5 miles per hour over the speed limit. We've discussed this back and forth. Last time during the race to Vegas, we did a 5 over speed cap. It worked out fine, and keeps the speeds reasonable, keeps everyone safe, just enough to pass a car if we need to. And ultimately, I think there's going to be some stretches, especially in the Lucid, to maximize the range, where I'm going to be slightly under that 5 miles per hour over, just depending on weather conditions and everything like that. So let's talk to the guys tonight, get their impressions of how everything's going to go, what they think about the cars, what they think about the run, what their strategy is going to be, and then we are going to get some shut-eye because it is 11:53 p.m. and I want to leave early in the morning. So it's time for bed. So let's do this pretty quick.
I'm Coleton, and I'm going to be piloting the Model S Plaid tomorrow morning. Super excited for this one. I kind of chose the Plaid because I know Tesla. I have a Model 3 long range that I drive quite a bit, so I figured Tesla is probably the best way for me to go. We, of course, have our 5 mile an hour speed cap over the speed limit that we're going to be doing tomorrow. Big thing I'm going to be trying with this is to get a big, long first leg on this, hopefully trying to get to parachute. We'll see how that goes. It's going to be interesting because I got to play with the Model S here to kind of figure out when I can unplug and make it to the next stop. I don't really know this car super specifically like I do mine, so that'll be interesting. We're just going to have to fly by the seat of our pants, if you will. But yeah, going to be in full air suspension all the way down, trying to get maximum range. And I don't think I'm going to be in chill mode. I may, we'll kind of see. Not exactly sure how this is going to go, but I'm excited for the first race to Vegas.
I'm Ryan. I'll be driving the Porsche Taycan. I'm pretty excited about this. The biggest advantage that this car has is the charging curve. It's great. It charges from 0 to 50 extremely quickly. 0 to 70 is great, and even the top charging is really fast. So while this may not have the same range as the Lucid, I think it can make up some time in the charging section. There's also a big advantage with the route planning. It tends to be very accurate, so it can give me a good idea of when I should leave and how long I need to plug in for. So that'll be really helpful for me to maximize the vehicle.
So guys, this all comes down to the specific route that we chose. Is a very customer-centric use case where we have a lot of people from Denver or Fort Collins that drive to Las Vegas. It's a very common route. We have 3 very expensive luxury electric vehicles that anyone looking to do such a run would consider, because it's just far enough where, or I should say it's just close enough where driving kind of makes sense than flying, but also where you kind of want a long range EV to get you there. So I really love this route that we've chosen. It's quite technical, going over the Rocky Mountains. The cars are all incredible in their own right. I also put up a poll on Twitter today asking who's going to win. I figured I'd pull up the results and show you. A lot of people think I have an advantage of driving, but I've actually chosen the most difficult car to optimize, which is the Lucid Air. I actually wanted to give Ryan the Lucid, but he says he's a Porsche man, so he has to drive the Porsche. Last time we did this, Alyssa and I took a Taycan Cross Turismo, and we smoked everyone. This time, this car is almost at the most disadvantage because it can't get that big range stretch that these two can initially. So I really don't know what to expect here. This is the results. We had 2,137 votes right here. 54% of the people think that Tesla is going to win, so that means Coleton has the people's vote there. We also have a lot of like Tesla fans that are following me on Twitter, so I don't know. And then 23% the Lucid's going to win, think the Lucid's going to win, and 23% think the Taycan's going to win, which is really interesting because that's the longest range and this is the shortest range. So I think no one knows is what we're trying to tell you. And it really comes down to how much of an advantage is that first initial charge going to be, that run, I should say, that distance run in the Lucid, because once we get moving, this thing rips. Now I should mention the Taycan also will suffer the Signet surge. It will also suffer the other problems at Electrify America, which is primarily what we're going to be using because it's really the only high power highway corridor network that these cars have access to in this area. So basically, if I run into an issue with this car, Ryan's going to pull up and run into an issue with this one as well. However, the voltage range of the Taycan is slightly lower. This is like 680 dead, somewhere around there, and maybe high 700s, just touching 800 when full. So a whole roughly 150 volts lower than the Lucid, which means the Signet surge isn't as bad on the Taycan as it is on the Lucid. And ultimately, I think that's a very realistic test of 2023. We've had Signet surge for well over 6 months now, going on maybe a year actually. And that's what these cars suffer out in the real world. So like I say, the car is a portion of it, the charging infrastructure is a portion of it, but unfortunately they are tied together. The only one that's completely untied is the Model S, because I can charge this at a supercharger, I can charge it at any CCS station or any CHAdeMO station. So the charging advantage is this car right here from a ability to go anywhere. Maybe Coleton will choose to use a CCS station. There's a 350 kilowatt in Green River that there's only a 150 kilowatt supercharger. We'll see. All I know is it's time for some shut-eye. Let's go to bed. These Race to Vegases are long, they're detailed. We want to make sure you guys realize we're trying to even the odds as much as possible, get the longest range specs. Again, disadvantaged Model S, pretty bummed about not getting aero on a long range, but it'll be interesting to see how this does. We have no idea what's going to happen. Safety's top priority, and then just sort of maximizing everywhere that we can. The fastest time to plug in the car, when the speed limit changes, zip right up to that next speed limit that we can get to as quickly as possible. Every second counts in Race to Vegas, and that includes us being on our game. So we are off to bed. We'll see you all in the morning when it's time to unplug and hit the road. And it is a good morning to you. Just past 6 a.m. here. We are loading up and getting ready to head out on the Race to Vegas from here in Wellington, Colorado to Las Vegas, Nevada. We have booked a hotel room at the Resorts World Hilton, which is where we typically stay when we go to Vegas. They have the boring tunnel underneath. It's actually a pretty cool spot. But we have a prize, which is whoever gets there first gets the bedroom with one bed, and whoever gets there second and third gets the bedroom with two beds. That's what we did last time. Whoever got to our Airbnb last time, because we did 5 cars Race to Vegas with 2 people in each car, got the master bedroom. And so it's always, okay, what's the best accommodation is what's on the line here. So real life and death situation. And all the cars, Coleton, so you were here just slightly before I was.
Yep.
What's the status on them? They were 100% and then you unplugged and replugged in just to top balance?
Yep, exactly. And pretty much didn't really accept any charge, so.
Yeah, a lot of them have the logic now where, like, you got to drain them a little bit and then top them back up. But we tried. And so the Lucid's at 100%. Really curious to see what this car is showing for mileage and degradation. So let's just do a quick check on all the cars, make sure they're all set. So we have 11,964 miles on this particular one. You would expect maybe a couple kilowatt hours of loss. So if I go to displays, units, distance, it's predicting this is rated range, but 505 miles down from the 516. But again, you really can't use that number to gauge degradation, but that's actually higher than I was expecting. So it's still charging to over 500 miles of range.
Ridiculous.
Which is crazy. And if you drive slow, we found out in the Lucid, you can actually achieve pretty close to that. The Taycan, let's take a look at this car here. See what all the stats look like inside. Might need the key. Oh wait, there we go. So it is 99%. Really? You didn't full charge it?
It stopped at 99.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. Okay.
Plugged and replugged, and it was still at 99. Said charging complete 99%.
This car's good, ready to go. It's predicting 273 miles there on a full charge, and that's before we even go and put it in range mode, which I've shown Ryan, so he's going to do everything he can to optimize this car. Now it's showing 281, which is far higher than its EPA rated range. We do have the Taycan on the factory aero wheels. And then the Model S over here. One of the few times this one's been full charged. We are at 100% state of charge. And wow, the screen is facing me. What the heck? Is that how you drive this thing, Coleton?
No.
No?
I just need extra length, you know? 'Cause I gotta be filming and doing all this stuff with one hand. So
Right, one hand lifestyle.
the advantage.
That's right. Okay, so if I come over here to display and we go to distance, this one's full charging to 342 miles, but keep in mind that's set on the 21-inch wheels inside the system, 342, and not the 19-inch wheels. So anyway, this one should have probably still, even with the non-aero wheels, more range than the Taycan, I would think. But it's all about where the chargers are placed. So do you have an idea as to where your first charger is?
Yeah, gonna shoot for a parachute.
You're going to shoot for parachute.
Yes, sir.
And how many miles is parachute from here?
I believe it's 280.
280 miles.
Yeah, so we'll see how that goes.
That's totally doable.
If we can, I mean, that's kind of a nice stop that just got put in because it kind of unlocks new sections as you go. So tentative plan, of course, is parachute, Green River, and then just start hopping as we go.
Very cool. It'll be interesting to see how that goes. Green River is going to be your bottleneck.
Yep.
Because it's the only version 250 kilowatt charger you're going to hit. Ryan, you may want to shut the Porsche off. I have your headlights burning.
Kyle's over here sabotaging already.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to help optimize you guys because I think I want to remove whatever variable I might play in this, which you guys are also EV road trippers. Maybe Coleton not as much as Ryan, but that's why you're taking the easy car. But Ryan, you road trip your Bolt everywhere, and now your Tesla, so you understand how this stuff works.
Yeah, I know how it works. I think this is going to be a very good car for it. My first stop's planning in Glenwood Springs, Green River, probably Beaver next, and then we'll see where I head after that.
That's going to be a big... I don't think you can do Green River to Beaver. I think you're going to have to go Green River to Salina.
All right.
And at least you got the chargers right at the Loves there. Best stop. I mean, yeah, play around with it. Taycan charges like a beast to 50%. But as soon as you're at 50%, it's okay. Can we make it to the next one?
Yeah. The thing that I'm dealing with is I really think whoever wins is going to have perfect charging sessions throughout the whole trip. And that's definitely not a guarantee for CCS.
Right, that's going to be you.
Yeah.
So that'll be really interesting. And I think actually my first stop is not even going to be in the state of Colorado. I think I'm going to make it all the way to Green River. And that's going to be the Lucid's advantage, because as soon as I have to stop where you're stopping, Ryan, you're going to smoke me.
Yep.
Because we found in our 10% challenge that this added, what was it, 53, 54 kilowatt hours in 15 minutes, and that only added 46. And so even though, yes, the Lucid's more efficient, the way we're driving, actually the Taycan's fairly efficient too, especially on the arrows, you're going to start, reining me in. Yeah.
But we'll see how it goes.
And that's going to be the interesting thing on a long enough trip. Can the Taycan start catching the Lucid? Is today long enough? But all I know is, at least for me, I need to do the Lucid thing and stretch that first leg all the way to Green River, Utah, which I've never done before leaving Colorado. So that's going to be crazy. Coleton, you're going to be basically stopping in parachute, probably actually with some energy in the tank, but there's just not a great version 3 charger past there until you get to deep into Utah.
Yeah, so the other options would be Grand Junction, which don't love that stop there because it's off the highway.
It's an old V2.
Yeah, exactly. So gonna definitely try and skip that. So this is super nice, but yeah, I think we should be good to go. The Green River stop, I think, is going to be like a big telltale on how this is going to go. Because if you guys have issues there, because what were you saying this morning? It was 2 are down.
2 are down. One's limited to 50. One's limited to 150. So
Green River's the bottleneck. I mean, it's always been the bottleneck.
Yeah.
But it's also the bottleneck for you because you have version 2 supercharging, which is still pretty great on this car.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm sure you know all about the wet rag trick when it's hot out.
Oh, I gotta get one.
Yeah, don't forget the wet rag because that could be the make or break.
Yeah.
Maybe we should carry microfibers as well, just to drape over the handle. Tesla's more affected.
Yeah, and then I can, in the meantime, set it over my head because I'm going no AC, baby.
No AC, nice, proper driving. Yeah, I mean, all range increasing situations are on the table here.
Yep.
You know, Taycan's got range mode. Lucid has, well, no extra modes, but I can just go slow. And yeah, same with you here. So you can put it in chill just to smooth out the accelerator pedal, all those things. So anyway, that's the situation. The cars are charged. We are ready to go. We should be in Vegas at around 7 p.m. Just in time for a good dinner.
Yep.
Then we turn around and come back tomorrow. Let's go clog up some chargers.
Yeah.
Hey there, everyone. You're joining me in the Taycan. I wanted to show you a little bit about my route and route planning. Of course, we're leaving with 99% state of charge, which is where it stopped charging. It didn't get quite up to 100, but I'm sure it's totally fine. This is our stop. Right now, I have Glenwood Springs, just the city, set as the destination. Later, I will put the charger as the destination, so it'll precondition properly. But we'll arrive with 12 or so %. That should be very good. I'm also going to keep it in range mode. I'll keep the climate in the eco setting. And of course, we're going to keep it +5 over the speed limit GPS speed. Everything's set up the way I would like it to be. I'm pretty much ready to go. I think this stop, hopefully here in Glenwood Springs, should be great. It will allow us to avoid Grand Junction, which is just quite a bit off the highway. I think that'll be very helpful for us.
And good morning from the Model S Plaid. So we are going to be getting on the way here. So my first stop, talking about going to Parachute here. Now, I'm not going to set it to the actual supercharger. Don't want to burn up the energy going over the mountains here. So I'm just going to select Parachute. Once we get a little closer, we'll start preconditioning the battery, maybe 30 to 40 miles or so before we get to the actual supercharger. But we're good to go here. We've got all of our trips set on here. So I've got a race to Vegas. This is going to be the full one. And then I'm going to utilize current trip to watch my watt hour per mile, make sure that I am utilizing every last bit of juice in this thing. And we should be good to go here. I'm going to put this on world maps. I know you Tesla people are going to hate me for doing that. Just like to be able to see the area I'm going. Just kind of helps me out quickly. We are good to go. I've got climate off for now. We'll see how that works. We'll get some jams pumping in here. Got a bunch of stuff in here. Water, food. We don't have to stop and worry about any of that. And we're going to be ready to rock and roll in the Model S. Super pumped for this. Very excited for my first race to Vegas.
Guys, you joined me inside the Lucid, and the reason I'm taking this car again is just because the Lucid, to maximize its charging curve, needs to be super low into the battery, and there's not really a great state of charge arrival guesstimator like the Taycan, like the Tesla, which is why I'm taking this car, just because I know I can maximize this thing. Also because the Lucid fans would freak out if it doesn't win, and I'm fairly certain I can get this car to win as long as we have good charging. If we have bad charging, that's when the Model S and the Taycan can easily pass us. So it's all really close to the wire here. Couple things to consider on the drive today. We are, let's see, that would be north up. We are going to go from here in Windsor down to Denver, over the Rockies, you guys know the drill, through Utah, down I-15 and into Las Vegas. It's 804 miles without the deviations for the charging stops, so that'll be quite interesting. Our first charging stop actually is not going to be until we get to Green River, which is right here. So we're going to be able to go across the entire Rocky Mountain range and over to the Green River Electrify America station. And that is going to be right about here. Let's see, we passed the river. Doesn't actually show the charger. That's crazy. Green River Coffee. That's so funny. We're like highlighted here. You would think it would say, hey, there's a 350 kilowatt charger right there. But we'll highlight Green River Coffee. We'll hit go. And that's going to be our first stop. So it is, let's see what it says here. 99 miles. Oh, it wants us to stop and charge in Grand Junction for 6 minutes. And I'm going to tell you right now, we are not going to do that. We're going to stretch it straight to Green River Coffee. And we're going to use almost the full battery pack doing it. It's 300 and something miles. I got to take a look. Maybe like close to 400, but I think this car can do it if we go slow. So we may end up staying slightly under the speed limit to make.
I was also just noticing on here, so I have parachute put in here, not the actual supercharger like I was talking about. Tesla's telling me I'm going to need to stop in Edwards already and arrive at 42% state of charge. That's not what we're going to do here. I would definitely like to skip that and go all the way to parachute. I think we can do it. Kyle definitely thinks we can. It's going to take me a little bit of time to learn the Model S. We're going to get some watt hour per mile going, do some calculations, see how we're going, and then we should be good to go. But let's head out. The boys over here filming their cars. Ryan looks like he's ready to go in a Taycan. I can't see Kyle over there, but I'm sure he's already planning and scheming all of his routes.
Okay, you guys ready? Well, we are off. Who's pulling out of here first? Well, I guess look at these guys going slow. We're leaving. I don't know what they're doing sitting around.
And that's the start. Here we go. We're all ready. All right, I'll go behind everyone, I guess. I'll be the first one to pull off. But let's get this going. I'll see you guys on the road.
Look at all these nerds. Off we go. Second place, but we are going to take that Lucid on today. Be curious to see how this goes, guys.
Race to Vegas starts right now. They are pulling out and off we go. There's no technically speed limit in here right now. I also have to buckle up and reset the nav, but I know roughly where we're trying to go. Clipping all the apexes through here. Stop sign, just a suggestion. We're on private property. Thank you. And just maintaining good pace. Speed limit 30, we can go 35. There we go. All about maximizing. These guys are passing me. I think the speed limit must be something different than what the Lucid says. It's got to be either 40 because they're going 5 over. This is always the challenge with Race to Vegas. Now I'm in the back because I was trying to follow this dang speed limit, but it's never correct in this car. And it's actually never correct in the Taycan either. The Taycan has a lot of issues, at least here in Colorado, getting the correct speed limit. In Europe, it's always dead accurate, so I don't know why it's hard in the US.
On the road we are, and we are in first place here. So we need to make sure we're not going over the speed limit here. Looks like we're in a 55 zone, just had some rough roads there. We've got Ryan behind and Kyle actually way back in the back. So we're just gonna take this gently out of here. Now I got this reset, so this is going all over the place. Started at 17% in parachute. Now it's saying we're gonna arrive at 22%. I'll update you guys.
I should also mention to you viewers that at least at this moment, and throughout the whole drive, we're going to be in smooth mode, which is sort of the lower power, gentle mode, good for efficiency. And I'm also not running any climate control at the moment. We are just driving along with everything off, and it is up to the drivers to optimize their climate control usage. Coleton is going less than 5 over. It's a 55. We can go 60 here, but he's choosing to hold us up. All good, and I really don't know what to expect today. I'm thinking all 3 cars have a true chance of doing this. It just comes down to the charging. And here we go as a bunch pulling onto I-25 South. It's always fun driving together, and I'm glad we made it through all the lights the same way. It's a great way for me to keep the eyes on those to make sure they're not playing any sneaky tricks here. But we are now going around the off-ramp, which Coleton is going fairly quickly, actually. I mean, fairly quickly. We're at the limited grip. The Lucid's also on bicycle tires, so it has no traction compared to the other two. It's partially how it got so much range. It's so funny, they were like sending it, they're on the off ramp. At least we were. The other cars didn't look stressed at all. And that's just a wheel tire selection. Great, well, let's get up to speed. We can go exactly 70 here. The speed limit is 65. So we'll do that, and we're gonna lock us in right here. We're gonna select 70, and then I'm going to long press this one. And, oh wait, I'm gonna long press this one. And there we go, active steering, Lucid Air Dream something or other, Dream Drive, I forget exactly what they call it, but it's okay. It just seems to hug the right line a little bit more than I would like occasionally. Like, here we go, whoa! Like, why do we have to be basically touching the wall on the right side? I thought it was a camera miscalibration, but then other Lucid owners told me like that's how it is. And then now we're back closer to the middle of the lane. Very odd behavior here in the Lucid, but hey, this thing is the range king. Let's pull the distance all the way in so we can get some aero advantage. Speed limit 55, so we can only go 60. Time to slow down.
We're going to be dealing with quite a bit of traffic on the way up. We kind of left a little later than we thought we were going to, so we're going to do the best we can here to get out of Denver. Now we've got 80 miles per hour as our top speed we can go.
Okay folks, cruising along here, 81 miles per hour and a 75. That is because this car reads 1 over. 81 indicated is 80 GPS, as we have found out. Just cruising behind Coleton. We are perfectly matched up on the speed, so that is good to know. And I can see Ryan a few cars up ahead, also perfectly matched on speed. So I think everyone's calibrated, dialed in. We're 16 miles into the journey. The sun is coming up, or it has come up, I guess I should say. And just a beautiful day for a drive to Vegas. It's going to be a scorcher today, deep into the 100-degree range as we get into Las Vegas, which is going to push the thermal systems of all of the cars to the maximum. So really looking forward to seeing how this all plays out today. I'm going to sit back, relax as we head into Denver, kind of knife our way through traffic, take every last opportunity to advance, like this one right here. And Coleton got us. And you know, just do the thing. Race to Vegas is awesome. It's the 3 big cars against each other. We'll see you along the drive.
Hey everyone, you're joining me in the Taycan. Just wanted to give you a quick update. It's only been like 20 or 30 miles, not much at all. But I'm ahead by, I don't know, half mile or so. It seems like, well, we already knew this, but Kyle is stretching to Green River, so he's gonna have to take it easy. It looks like Coleton is taking it a little easy. I'm not in the same boat. I just have to make it to Glenwood Springs, and it still says I'll make it with 12% state of charge. So I can hit up right to that speed limit plus 5 GPS speed. So that'll give me a little bit of a buffer, and yes, I'm going to charge more than the other vehicles. But hopefully this will give me a little bit of an advantage right here.
We just went from a 55 to a 75, and I accelerated a little bit harder than Coleton did to get there, just zapped it up, which, yeah, cost us some efficiency. We were at 4.8 miles per kilowatt hour, now we're at 4.4, but all I need to do is make it to Green River, and now he has ducked in behind. All part of the
90% state of charge, so 10% used, and we are right at 31 miles. So we are at 3.25 miles per kilowatt hour, showing 304 watt hours per mile here. So we're rocking and rolling. We are actually in last place right now. This is going to be tricky again to navigate through Denver. We've got people swerving everywhere. Just got passed by a motorcycle, probably going well over 100 here. So we are just going to try and weave ourselves through here safely, but being aero efficient as possible here. So getting to learn the Plaid a little bit and see how it does here. Yeah, we are just kind of stuck here in traffic. Looks like we're farther away than we really are. We're in wide angle, of course, here. So gonna try and scoot up here. Kyle is right in front of me, in front of this car up here. And I need to get ahead of him in the mountains. And we've got energy to burn, it looks like. So this keeps going up. We are at 32% state of charge, arrival and parachute. So we definitely have some buffer to play with. Definitely going to try and burn that up and get juiced up at that nice new V3.
Well, Ryan knifed through traffic a little bit better than us. We're just coming into the real Denver metro area right now. Probably going to hit some traffic, just like we did in the last race to Vegas. This is just the nature of living outside of the metro, but we all are going to take the express lane and keep the speeds up. We are pegged at 81 right now in the Lucid. So quiet, so comfortable, down to 4.2 miles per kilowatt hour, which is just still insanely efficient here. The most efficient car out of the trio by far, and it's pretty sweet. There's the
going 80, following Kyle here. You can see him just right up there, moving along.
Express lane was the right call. Massive backup here. We're able to just sail on through. This is when you need to be real careful about people cutting into your lane and stuff. So we're just gonna be extra vigilant and blast past everything here.
Looks like Ryan got over in the toll lane, and we are definitely getting into Denver traffic now as we're slowing down. So I asked Kyle what state of charge he was at. The Plaid is currently at 85. When I sent the text, it was 86%. He just texted me back saying 89% in the Lucid. So honestly, not as massive as a difference as I thought it would be. But yeah, very, very interesting going down here, flying through traffic. Even the toll road here is getting kind of backed up. So I see a 55-mile-an-hour speed limit zone here as we're following Kyle, and that means our max speed is 60. So we'll keep going here. Once we get off I-25, should be smooth sailing as far as traffic once we get onto 76 and then onto I-70 up the hogback, where you guys have watched plenty of out-of-spec reviews, videos, testing ADAS system.
Well, as we make our way through Denver this morning, I've just heard from Coleton. He is at 86% state of charge. Ryan is at 84% state of charge. To be expected, the Taycan's much smaller battery, and I'm at 89% state of charge. So very similar between the cars here. It actually has me slightly worried that I may not be able to make it to Green River on a single charge. We've just crossed 12,000 miles now in the Lucid, and I don't know, might have to go a little bit slower than we have been to stretch it all the way to Green River. We will see.
So we are basically in stop and go traffic right now. Already have to pee, so this is going to be interesting. We've got another 3 hours and 16 minutes. Sorry, Kyle, may have to use some water bottles in here.
Well, guess who knifed his way through traffic a little bit better than Ryan? I'm honking at him. He doesn't even notice that I'm right here. He's just cruising along, doing his thing. There, let's get right up next to him if we can. On we go. Well under the speed limit. And there he is. I still don't think he notices us, does he? There we go. There's the wave. Nice.
And there's the Lucid. We're just stuck in traffic, so nothing too exciting.
Well, we are just passing N-Rail here as we are on I-70 about to do the hill climb, and we're about 60 miles in so far. We've gotten 4.3 miles per kilowatt hour. That is very efficient. That's like 230-ish watt hour per mile, somewhere around there. And I mean, just magic here in the Lucid for being, again, a Model 3 LFP is more efficient than this car, but it's also got a much smaller battery. It's a much smaller vehicle. This is a large luxury vehicle, and you just can't argue with the efficiency at low speed. Now in our Cannonball, we were at 1.8 to 2.5 miles per kilowatt hour, but we were ripping. And so this is much more realistic efficiency out of the Lucid, and that's what this car is engineered around. That 70 mile an hour, cruising range is my impression between gear ratios and motor efficiency. That's what this thing is built for. So we're just about to do the big climb, and I think this thing has a chance of winning. It all comes down to Green River.
All right, checking in on efficiency here. So we are at 61 miles traveled, 19 kilowatt hours used, 312 watt hour per mile. I did actually turn on the AC here. I'm feeling a little lightheaded and a little dizzy, so yeah, definitely needed some air moving here. It was getting a little stale in here, if you will. So I am following Kyle right now, and Ryan is just ahead in the left lane there. Hopefully you can see him right there in the Taycan.
So let's just talk about our first charging stop very briefly. We, again, can stretch it all the way to Green River, which has one working charger as far as we're aware. But also that we just saw a great check-in from a Rate Your Charge user like a few hours ago, late last night. So I'm banking on Green River working, because it kind of, the trip is a little bit annoying if we don't stop at Green River. We don't have to stop at Green River. I could pull in early in Grand Junction, and if we're not going to make it to Green River, then that's what we're going to do. We're going to pull in at Grand Junction, but I can charge in Grand Junction enough to skip Green River and make it to Salina. It's a big stretch. It's 200 miles, I think, something like that. Which that really loses the Lucid advantage. The advantage of this car is to get that big initial full charge range. But it all comes down to, if Green River's bad, then it's actually more advantageous to stop early in Grand Junction. It's just so hard to know. And since I know I'm going to be the first car to Green River, because both Coleton, he's not going to be using the EA anyway, but Ryan's going to have to stop and charge, I know I can get a good charging session. So now we're just at the beginning of the climb, 4 miles per kilowatt hour, and tanking very quickly as we climb the hill. Let's see what happens. I really hope Green River works. And there's Ryan just roughly ahead doing the hill climb, and just behind me is Coleton in the Model S. I see he has manually set the lights to off, which turns off the running lights. Really cheeky, pulling out all of the stops there, Coleton. I don't think there's a way I can actually shut off the lights in the Lucid. If there is, I'm not sure of it. I'm sure there is. In the Taycan, you got to hold parking lights. Each car is a little bit weird. Well, I just got around a truck I was stuck behind. The guys are just around the next corner. Efficiency has dropped to 3.6 miles per kilowatt hour, but I'm still at 80% state of charge, well, 79%. We have another 315 miles to go to get to Green River. I've already done about 80 miles on this drive, and the views are incredible. This is actually our hogback loop, so I'm getting a pretty good impression of what the Lucid's gonna do when we run it in the hogback in just a few days. Very much looking forward to that test.
Well, couldn't hold it any longer. Pulled off back there, had to do a quick splash and dash, and pretty sure Kyle passed me on the way.
And into the Eisenhower Tunnel we go. This is looking pretty good. We're at 3 miles per kilowatt hour. We are at 66% state of charge after driving just over 100 miles, which indicates closer to a 300-mile range. However, again, we are now at well over 10,000 feet of elevation, and we will lose it into Green River. So my guess is 400 miles seems realistic. I think we're going to be stretching it coming into Green River, but I'm going to make this car get there. I think that's the best plan to maximize this thing. Right now, I'm just keeping it at 5 over everywhere we go. And yep, 3 miles per kilowatt hour. It's pretty much only going to go up from here. This is probably the lowest we'll see all trip, is my guess.
Into the Eisenhower we go, and we've got flashing lights ahead there. Luckily, the road's not closed today. I think yesterday they had a car fire in the tunnel. Not something you want to see, as a Subaru is very slowing down.
Update from the Taycan, I just hit 50% state of charge. I've got another hour and 20 minutes to my first stop. That's going to be Glenwood Springs. It's now saying I'll arrive with 26%. It originally said 12, so great efficiency so far. There is another charger in Rifle, and it's a 200 kilowatt charge point charger. However, I'm going to stick with Electrify America and try to get the full 270 kilowatts that this is capable of. So we'll see how that goes.
And now we're going to be climbing Vale Pass. So we have lots more climbing to do. Basically, once we hit the top of Vale Pass, it is all downhill, basically till Grand Junction and likely Green River. So onwards we go. Wanted to share some beautiful scenery with y'all here. God, Colorado is just freaking awesome. Wish we got up to the mountains a little bit more. Busy detailing schedule it's been lately, but just cruising along. Really enjoying this drive and actually starting to feel a little bit better. So getting some water in the system. I was trying to not drink any water because I was like, I know I gotta pee. We can't add any more. So I'm hoping we can pass Kyle up here.
We are just cresting Vail Pass. This is the last tallest peak of the drive, over 10,000 feet. We do have a couple in Utah that'll bring us up to 7,000, but we're at 10,662 feet. We're at 61% state of charge. Our efficiency, of course, dropped a little bit on the way up this hill, but now we'll recapture on the way down. You guys know the drill. The Lucid is quiet, it's comfortable. I still haven't had to kick on climate control. I did put my ventilated seat on though slightly because it was getting a little bit warm, but 63 degrees isn't bad, and I have the shades all closed in the back, the side and the rear shades, because that's where the sun is at the moment. Lucid driver assistance doing actually better than the last time that I tested it. Really been great. It doesn't like the sharp corners. It seems to like max out at a certain input degree, which is not enough to do some of the corners, but when we're just sitting on these straight sections, yeah, it's doing great. No ping-ponging, no phantom braking, no complaints from me. I've always loved the way the Lucid drives, and that's really this car's key key selling point is driving dynamics and of course the range of it. So continuing on, let's see what happens up ahead.
Just barely missed it. We just reached the top of Vail Pass now. 45% state of charge, so chewed up a little, actually quite a bit going up. Just been set right at 71 here. Autopilot doing its magical stuff. I love the lane change system in Model S. It's just amazing. Super pumped with that. So 135 miles covered now, 50 kilowatt hours, so right at 368 watt hour per mile as well. So not super great efficiency, but now we're going downhill. So you can see we're in regen right now. The boys are still ahead of me, trying to catch up.
We have just passed the town of Eagle, or we're just in Eagle, I think. There was an Audi e-tron that's just out of frame now that came flying up at like 100 and something miles an hour and then just like kept hammering. I was like, whoa, dude's treating this like a German Autobahn. Love to see it. That was great. So yeah, he is just sending it in the e-tron. He has gone out of frame. So cool. Anyway, we are at 61% state of charge. Coleton is at 48% state of charge. So bigger battery plus more efficient car. That kind of makes sense. 4.1 miles per kilowatt hour so far. Just insanely efficient. Under 250 watt hour per mile is next level. And again, we've climbed all the way up here compared to where we started. So Lucid at low speed, and then especially with climate off and moderate exterior temperatures, this car is magically efficient. This is certainly next level. However, I will say, for a lot of people who drive like that e-tron driver, or normally just like doing 85, whatever, 90 miles an hour with climate on. I mean, I'm going to put climate on as soon as I feel warm, but I've actually been fairly comfortable in here, and I've just been kind of cracking the window a little bit. Once you start adding all that ancillary, the speed and the climate and all that stuff, I really find that there's not much difference between the Lucid and some of its competitors in terms of efficiency. This car is still better, but that's when the gap closes. But at least when you keep this thing maxed out in full range mode and drive it smoothly and slowly, damn, it just runs and runs and runs. Absolutely love the range out of this car. I gotta stop and pee though. Coleton stopped and peed, so he's about 1.5 miles behind me, and I need to find a little spot so he'll catch up. Ryan, somehow, the guy who always has to pee, is still going just fine. I don't understand. You join me now at 173 miles into our trip, and just spoke to Ryan. He's at 34% state of charge, and I'm at 60% state of charge. Coleton is at low 40s as well, somewhere around there. So certainly big battery and efficiency. We're smoking them, but it's now 75 degrees outside. It's starting to get toasty in here. I am officially going to be kicking on the climate control, and we'll probably not shut it off until after the drive because it's only going to get hotter and hotter into Vegas. So we got our couple hour boost with no climate, but we're about to kick it on and you know, just maximize every last bit. I know Coleton kept his off for as long as he could. I know Ryan did the same as well, as my understanding, but the other two guys are now running their climate. I think I should kick mine on as well, so I don't sweat to death in here, and we should be able to make it to Green River. It'll be close, but it shouldn't be a big problem.
Another update from the Taycan. We're gonna arrive with the charger at 28% state of charge, so plenty of juice, and we're gonna hopefully see some really good charging speeds. I am a little concerned that we'll see some Signet surge, but hopefully not, and we'll see how it goes. You guys will get to see it with me.
Okay, go, 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 go. Quick pee break. Just pulled off the side of the road. This looks sketchy but safe. I mean, as in, someone may see something they don't want to see, but oh well. Okay, that took forever. You know when you like really have to pee, and oh, phone key actually working. Thank goodness, Lucid's in this with me. When you have to pee so bad and it doesn't actually come out fast enough into drive, we got to put AC back on. Okay, we are running air conditioning now, by the way. Just gentle 72 degrees on light fan. Okay, let's get back on the road. This was a way longer exit than I expected. What's the speed limit? I don't know.
Autopilot is actually really awesome today, guys. So I've had 2 big phantom brakes on this, caught them right away, no big deal. Honestly, actually really surprised. The lane changing system is freaking amazing.
In the Taycan, pulling into the charger, wanted to show you some of these trip stats right here. 3.5 miles per kilowatt hour, 204 miles. And I'll see you shortly when I'm plugging in.
Bam, just plugged in the supercharger and parachute as we talked about. Still calculating, wonder if we're having service issues here. Just want to note it is 80 degrees Fahrenheit outside, still 30% remaining. It's claiming we're going to get there at 16%. No battery preconditioning yet, so we must have done a good job getting the pack nice and warm going up and down over the mountains, using quite a bit more juice going up, getting regen while we go back. So beautiful Glenwood Springs here.
So this is the exit Ryan is off of, and I am passing it with 55% state of charge. That is a big difference right there. So if your road trips include sort of long distance in one direction, no question you can skip some charging stops with the Lucid, and that's where range does really matter. We've done a whole video on that topic here on this channel, where Timon and I drove from basically LA to Phoenix, charged up at our destination, and then drove back without having to stop and charge. That is nice. I'm normally not a range guy. I'm all about the charging performance of a vehicle. It's why I love Taycan. But hey, this is really helping us out right now. So yeah, no complaints from me at the moment. We are going to be in the lead here in a second.
All right, just pulled in. Let's go plug in. We've got plug and charge, so we can just open up and plug in. Very tough one to plug in, but we're plugged in. Let's see, connecting to vehicle. This may take a minute. Man, I wish this were quicker. All right, we're juicing. 250 kilowatts, 251. All right, I need to go to the bathroom, and I'll plan out the rest of this. Oh, look at that, we're ramping up. Perfect, 266, 259. All right, I will be back.
We are actually in the lead now, behind this lovely truck here that has taken up some space. We actually passed Kyle. He must have stopped to pee, and Ryan is actually stopped at the Electrify America station in Glenwood Springs. So hopefully he has a great charge. I'm rooting for everybody today. I just want to see how much we can push these cars and go for it. So I think Ryan is getting 255 kilowatts on the Taycan. Just got that update from Kyle. That's pretty mega. So we need to get to parachute here and try and beat Ryan back out on the road. Again, we're going to 55%, I think, is our mark, and I think we can stretch it to Green River from there. Should be completely fine. Want to give myself a little bit of a buffer.
Well, the current situation is we are past Glenwood now. Ryan is currently charging at 260 kilowatts and ramping up in the Taycan. I have the apps for all three cars so I can see what's going on, and I really want the cars to do well, so I'm also offering some tips to Ryan and Coleton to maximize the cars as well. I really don't want this to be a I know how to road trip an EV thing, so of course the car I'm in is going to win, because that was a lot of comments we got on Twitter talking about this, and it's like, well, I kind of wanted to take the Taycan because that was the underdog here, smallest battery, all that stuff. And Ryan was like, oh no, I kind of want to try the Taycan. So I'm like, yeah, I don't care. I don't mind. Whichever car I'm in, doesn't matter to me. I'm certainly going to push it as hard as I possibly can. And I'm in the Lucid, and it's very comfortable. It's very big, very airy, and I'm very happy in this car. And there's a guy in a Bolt that was taking a video of the Lucid, which is really funny. So anyway, we are getting back up to speed limit increase there. Sorry, just had to pay attention. So Ryan's juicing, Colton's about to stop, and we still have 53% state of charge. We're hammering through.
Just went to the bathroom. It's been 5 minutes, and look how much we've charged. That's real good. Now, let's go get in the car, figure out where we need to go next and how much we need to charge for that. I took a look around, and the options are to stop by in Rifle, which is in like 20 miles, so that doesn't make sense. I could go to Grand Junction, but that's very far off the highway, takes an extra 10 plus minutes just to get to the charger. Or I can charge up and make it all the way to Green River. It's 186 miles, and it says I'll need about 75-80% state of charge to get there. That's what I'm gonna end up doing, especially since it's charging just so quickly. We are still at 180 kilowatts. It's only been 7 minutes, so you're gonna hang tight. Car is off currently. That'll help the car condition the battery, put all of the cooling power into the battery instead of cooling off the AC in cabin. So doing as well as we can do and getting ready to head over to Green River.
Coleton is in front of me right now. He's used 67 kilowatt hours to get to this point. He's just over that crest. We've only used 51 kilowatt hours. And I'm telling you, the wheels and tires are not making that big of a difference. This is the first time I'm truly seeing a little bit of the magic that is the Lucid Air. I've been driving this car so quickly in all of our tests that, you know, the differences, like I was explaining, are not as broad, not as showcased. But here, cruising at normal speeds, very much a big difference between the Model S, the Taycan, and the Lucid, and this is far superior from an efficiency standpoint. And yep, just couldn't be happier I chose this car, that's for sure.
So if we select this charger, looks like it'll be about 6% state of charge when we arrive. Yeah, I think that's fine. Let's unplug the car. $14 minutes. Okay, I'm gonna go unplug this cable. It's a two-handed operation, then we'll be back on the road.
Welcome to 50% state of charge. We've done 232 miles so far, 4.4 miles per kilowatt hour. If you do some simple math, that would be a 460 miles on a single charge. Considering the speeds we've been traveling have been very low today. We just came out of a 50-mile-an-hour construction zone, and we haven't had much, you know, room to run here at 80 miles an hour up until now. I imagine our efficiency is going to drop, but still, over the Rocky Mountains, driving 5 over the speed limit, which is very reasonable. That's one hell of an efficiency number right there. 4.4 miles per kilowatt hour in a car this big and this powerful that handles this well. It is pretty damn cool.
Back onto I-70 in the Taycan. Here's that info. Battery's still hot, and that's our navigation, so it's looking pretty good.
Alrighty, 1.6 miles away here. 10 stalls available on a 12 stall station here, all V3s. So we're gonna get this bad boy juiced up. Let's take you in here. Pretty nice views around Parachute here. Definitely crazy landscape as you go through Colorado to the Rocky Mountains, out to more of like, I don't know, this silty plateau-y stuff. I don't know, I'm not a geologist, so I'm sure you guys will tell me. But let's make sure we don't miss our exit here. Rolling in hot. We gotta make this light. We're gonna do it. Woohoo. All right, should be just across the road here. I've actually never been to the supercharger, so really curious to see what this is like. All right, this one here on the end looks mighty nice. 3D. Boom. Park, here we go. And in. Let's see what we get here. 160, here we go. I still got the blinker on. 172, zoom in here for you. 190. Come on, baby, give me the juice. 212. 224. 242. Give it to me. Boom, and juicing. We're at 250. So I'm gonna just set this right to about 60 here. I think we're gonna leave with 55%. I'm gonna go to the bathroom 12 minutes. If we can do that, let's go, Model S.
And we are now just passing Parachute. Coleton literally just checked in only plugged in only about 20 seconds ago. So Coleton's right over there. He was just like at the end of the straightaway. He plugged in at under 20%. We still have 46% state of charge. And we are gonna be continuing on another 145 miles until our charging stop. That is a measurable difference for sure. So Coleton's just over there on the other side of that hill. Bye, Coleton. See you in Vegas. Wow, this Revel is freaking kitted out. Actually, it's a Storyteller Overland. Super cool. It's a Revel competitor. That thing is sick. Damn, makes my Sprinter look like weak sauce. So cool. Anyway, let's enjoy the lead for a little bit, shall we?
All right, guys, so pulled in here, we are at 214 kilowatts right now at 37% state of charge. Wanted to call Kyle and get his advice on when to leave for Green River. I believe, let's punch it in the map here. I believe it's right at 145 miles away from here. Yep, exactly 145 miles away from here to Green River. So Kyle, what do you think? I was kind of planning on 55%.
Yeah, I mean, I think that sounds very reasonable because I think the car could do 300 miles at, well over 300 miles at 70 miles an hour. But let's keep in mind that the speeds are also going to be slightly higher as we go into Utah. So, because we'll have that 80 mile an hour speed limit. So I think putting a little extra buffer in there because we're going to be going faster than we have been so far makes a lot of sense. And now I'm just hitting a construction zone. I got to really slow down. What the heck? I'm holding up the entire state of Colorado behind me. Going 5 over.
Yep.
Yeah, brutal actually. So yeah, let's see. I might have to.
Holy smokes, I may get on the road before you pass me, Kyle.
No, I've already passed you.
Oh, dang it.
Yep, already passed you, so ahead of you, but I don't think you're going to be more than 6-7 minutes behind me, something like that.
Okay.
So it's real close. I would say, when you hit Green River in the car, what does it say you'll get there with?
So currently it's saying minus 14%, minus 13 right now.
Okay, and we're at 43.
Yep.
So we're right on the same track as the car.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
So I would say, 55%, put in a slight buffer, as long as it's, you can always slow down and make it. But your goal is to not leave when you're over 150 kilowatts because your charger in Green River is only going to be a 150.
Yep.
So I can't remember the exact charging curve on that car, but I'm fairly under 150 kilowatts at 50% state of charge, so it's not a concern, but something to think about.
Okay, yeah, so we're at 165 right now at 45%.
Yep, sounds like you're getting the ideal charging experience for the Plaid.
Mega. Awesome.
Awesome. Okay, well, enjoy it. So let me know what you end up leaving with, but I'm cruising along ahead of all y'all.
I'm currently passing Rifle, which is where that 200 kilowatt charge point charger is. We've only used 8%, so I think we made the right call by going to the Electrify America because we got an extra 60, 70 kilowatts for a solid amount of time. So I think we ended up actually saving a bit of time by doing that instead of going to ChargePoint. Now, the unfortunate news is Green River is not looking good. 2 chargers are down, 1 is limited, and 1 is up. And the one that's up is 150 kilowatts, so we'll see how it goes. And currently, actually, they're all in use, so we'll see how it goes.
All right, hopping out here, gonna unplug. We got 57%. Unplug, let's go. We gotta go. All right, so it's showing a 3% buffer at Green River right now. Let me get all situated. We'll get on the road here and I'll show you guys what we've got going on. So Kyle and I talked a little bit. I think this is being quite conservative. So we got to 57% state of charge, showing arrival in Green River at 3%. We are going to be having a little bit higher speeds out here, but I think we are going pretty much downhill into Green River. So we'll keep an eye on the big guessometer over here. We're going to get up to speed as we go. I'm trying to do a lot of things at once. You got to appreciate when you come on these how well Kyle does road tripping like this and how amazing the content always is. So having a hell of a time here, guys. Now it's showing 5%, so we may have charged a few minutes extra. We dipped a little bit. I think we got down to 123 kilowatts on here, so may have missed just a few minutes there, maybe like 3 minutes, but I think we're good to go. We'll pull into Green River nicely. We have autopilot back, so let's get going here and see how we do. Coleton just unplugged. We are still at 43% state of charge. He's at 55 right now, so he's not too far behind, maybe only 10 or 15 minutes at the most. I think probably closer to 10 minutes. And we have driven 267 miles so far, still more to go. And I think we're going to be the first in and out of Green River will be my guess. Ryan is still in last place. I'm fairly certain, I need to double check the GPS map, but I'm fairly certain Coleton stayed ahead of Ryan throughout that charging session. That Lucid is just nuts. So he's going to be charging in Green River. We're going to be charging in Green River. Ryan's going to be charging in Green River. I really think this is a very, very, very critical stop here. If the boys have any issues, man, this is going to really be interesting. Ryan just passed or is passing Parachute right now, so we are definitely quite a few miles ahead of him. I would kind of guesstimate about, I don't know, 15-ish miles or so. So great for the Model S here. We got to have a good charge in Green River. Now the interesting thing is Ryan's going to be able to charge faster than the Model S in Green River. We could always go to the EA station, but I think we're going to play it safe. We're going to go to the Tesla charger. This is our only V2 supercharger out here, and I think we'll then keep hopping on from there. So I think we're going to be good to go here. We are now in Grand Junction, Colorado, and this is where we need to make our determination about making it to Green River. Now, the car still wants to stop at the charging station here in Grand Junction. It's also why I've been using Apple Maps to gauge distances, because it's pretty annoying that I can't just remove this charging stop like you can in Taycan and Model S. But it wants a 3-minute charge just so we could get to Green River at 15%, which makes no sense to me because, yeah, you would think, okay, let's leave some buffer on in case the charger doesn't work, but you're in Green River. It's 100 miles in either direction to the next working charger. It doesn't matter if you get there at 1% or 20%, you ain't making it. So we are going to, we gotta slow down a little bit, down to 76.
And then, yep, so we're just heading straight to Green River, 37%, 100 miles to go, easily doable. We've done 300 miles roughly. You know, we get there low, but we should be good. May have to reduce the speed slightly as we come into Green River, but this is going to make it. We're going to make it get there, and the Lucid just continues to impress. Coleton just texted our little group chat and said, good luck, Green River is full. And he is correct. The station is completely full, maxed out. There's only 2 working chargers where we're going. There's one that seems to output 150 kilowatts, and there's another that seems to output 50 kilowatts. We, of course, want the 150 kilowatt one. There are 2 350 kilowatt ABB stations there, but they seem to be dead and offline. And so it just shows, like, the stresses you have road tripping the Lucid. Yeah, we've made it farther than Coleton, but he's just gonna roll up to the charger in Green River, plug in, no stress. I'm like, okay, do we have backup plans? How far is Salina? Should I stop here in Grand Junction and top up on the way? Which I don't think we should. I think we're gonna risk it because that's, I think, the smartest decision. We're banking on that 150 kilowatt charger being open just enough to get us over to Salina. But wow, the infrastructure, you know, stress level between the cars, between Tesla and CCS, night and day, just crazy. Well, the Lucid just decided to stop trying to turn me around and bring me back to Grand Junction. We finally got it locked onto Green River, and it shows 41 miles on arrival, which is plenty. Let's see how accurate that actually turns out to be. I wish it would give me percent instead of miles, because percent is, I think, easier for me, at least, because I know if that means like 5%, then yeah, I don't know. Either way, 41 miles projected. We're keeping the speed very consistent, 5 over. We have the world's slowest pass going on here, and it's warming up. 98 degrees Fahrenheit outside. Air conditioning's feeling good. We are now leaving the great state of Colorado, and we will be entering Utah right over there on the other side of the crest. And there we go. We are officially made it all the way from Windsor out of the state of Colorado, 324 miles on a single charge with 29% remaining. And it's not like we're really hypermiling. We're just going, cruising along. You know, we're doing 80 miles an hour right now. Now the speed limit does bump up to 80 up here. So I'm curious, I don't know if this has an 85 cap. I'm pretty sure Lucid does lane centering up to 90 miles an hour, which means I can still do my 1 over needed to reach GPS speed. Coleton is gonna have a little bit of trouble because autopilot only goes to 85. So he may either do the kilometer per hour trick, which gives you up to 87, we'll see. And if not, then he's gonna be 1 mile an hour off. Although he may be able to run GPS indicated speed in the Model S. I don't know what his speedometer is calibrated at. But right now we're continuing along. We got 42 extra miles in the tank to burn. You know me, we run it out. That's to maximize the Lucid. We get the fastest charging when it's dead. And I'm just hopeful that everything we're seeing is wrong about Green River, and we will get a 350 kilowatt charger, because one just popped up available in the app. It says 350 kilowatts. So I don't know, but I'm driving this thing out of spec style. It's the only way I know how to do it. So we're gonna run it all the way dead. Fingers crossed.
So Kyle just texted me, said hello from Utah. Just looked it up. We are 14 miles behind him. Honestly, not as bad as I thought with how far he got ahead of us. So I think we're doing okay. I've got some tricks up my sleeve coming up here. So stay tuned, especially for Green River. And there we go, full phantom brake there. Hello, good morning. So we're cruising along here, showing 4% we're gonna arrive in Green River. I really think that is ultra conservative. I think we may have a slight uphill into Green River. We'll check it out and kind of adjust speed accordingly. I think we should be good. So typically what I'm seeing in this car now, if I look over here in trips and efficiency, so we're doing about 335 watt hour per mile, right at 3 miles per kilowatt hour. So we should be around 100 miles of range left on the car right now, and we have 81 miles to go. So we should be all good to go there. So again, tricks up my sleeve.
Hello everyone, welcome to the Taycan. I crossed over to Utah a little bit ago and things are going really well. Speed limit in Utah moved up to 80, so +5. We're now at 85 miles an hour. Things have been going well. I wanted to tell you a little bit about how this Taycan's been treating me. I found it to be really comfortable. I think the Lucid has a slightly better ride and is a bit softer, maybe a bit better at these long drives, but this is also very comfortable, and it just feels so solid on the road. Really enjoy just how it feels, how it handles. All the controls are really well sorted. I've been happy with the sound system as well. It's really solid. We've got the Bose system, which is the medium upgrade. You can go all the way up to a Burmeister, which is even nicer, but the Bose is very solid. I'm also liking the lane keep assist as well as the adaptive cruise control. I think it's really solid. It's better than my Tesla, but I think there are some other systems that are a little better, but can't complain too much. I think it's going really well, and we're still about 50 minutes away from Green River. Our projected state of charge arrival will be 10%, so it's gone up a little bit. So it looks like we could have unplugged a tiny bit sooner, but I don't know how much it's gonna matter. We're headed over to Green River, which would have been a very difficult one to skip. And 2 chargers are down, 1 charger's limited, and the only one that's working is a 150. It's been full all morning, so we'll see how it goes. But I think this might end up being a bottleneck. We'll have to see. I think we might end up actually running into Kyle over there, but again, we'll have to see.
How you doing?
Not too bad, sir. Looks like I'm going to arrive in Green River at 1%.
Wow, you're killing it, man.
So I'm glad I thought I overcharged, but I mean, we're going fast. It's 100 degrees, so I think we're using up quite a bit of juice here.
Yeah.
Yeah, my efficiency is not incredible. Let's see what it is. So I'm at 364 watt-hour per mile on this one.
I am at 3.3 miles per kilowatt hour.
Damn, that's pretty good.
Yeah, not bad.
How much, what do you think you'll get to Green River with?
It says 9%, so
Okay. Well,
overcharged a bit.
this is going to be true tell, sir. This is going to, I think, make or break it.
Oh yeah, no, I think I'm hosed. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. So I'm gonna go charge at the V2 in Green River, and then do like a 45 to 50% charge, and then go to Salina and do the CCS charge there.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So that way I skip Richfield, because otherwise Beaver is 184 miles from Green River, so that'd be a deep charge.
Yeah, that'd be a hike.
And it's way uphill on this next one, so just watch out for that.
Yep. Yeah.
Well, folks, we have made it to Green River, Utah. Let's hop in the right lane here, just completing a pass and exit. We are at 11% state of charge. This was by far the farthest away charging station we could have made it to on the initial leg. Again, I couldn't have burned any more juice with speed because I was at the maximum speed this road trip allowed the whole time. It is hot out there, 104 degrees, and things are not looking good for this charging station. We might lose it all right here. Let me explain. We are pulling into Green River, and by we I mean you and me, and things are not looking good. I just checked PlugShare, and there was a guy in an Ioniq 5 who checked in and said he was in line waiting to charge. I then just checked it a couple minutes ago, and it said he switched it from waiting in line to actually charging. But I'm hoping in that last 15 minutes, however long it's been, no other electric cars have shown up. If that's the case, then hopefully as he unplugs, he'll unplug roughly around when we get there. The Ioniq 5 is such a fast charging EV. I'm hoping he uses PlugShare so he knows not to just sit at 100%. We'll see. But another charger has gone offline here. It seems like there's only one working, and now interestingly, it's the 350 kilowatt one, the 150 that was here, and the 50 kilowatt both say offline. So I'm not sure how much to trust the app. All I know is it's painting a really sketchy picture for us. We won't know for another 3 minutes or so until we get over there, but Green River could be the make or break of this whole thing, but I'll give you all the stats when we get over there. I felt a little headwind on the highway, but these flags are indicating no wind. It looks like there 2 Model 3s charging at the supercharger right over there. And so Coleton will have not have to share a cabinet is what that indicates to me. He'll get the full 150 kilowatt charging speeds that can output. If it was kind of busier, he might have to limit to 72 kilowatts, which would really help us as we deal with whatever situation we're going to find up here.
So feeling some big wind here now. Just had a nice gust blow us across the road here. We are going to 0 here on the Model S. So I just got the notification saying stay below 85 miles an hour to reach your destination. Dropped it down a little bit. We're gonna just cruise this thing in. Should be good to go. Kyle said, unless you really get to that, stay below 70, you're good to go. So we'll see how this goes. We've got 14 miles left, 5% state of charge. Kyle's gotta be getting to Green River here any minute and see what kind of mayhem he's going to get into. But it looks like our V2 supercharger up here has 5 stalls available, so 3 people charging. Again, only a 150 here. So we're gonna, I think my game plan here, guys, is to do around a 45 to 50% charge. We're dealing with some wind. We've got high elevation on the next one. We definitely want to skip Richfield. That is, Kyle says, I believe like around 80 kilowatts max he's seen. I could be wrong on that, but somewhere around there. So we're going to skip that one. So we need enough juice to get into Salina, and then we're going to CCS charge this bad boy. And I really hope that's going to give us a nice advantage, because otherwise our only real other option is to do a really deep charge, because it's 184 miles from Green River into Beaver. So we're gonna try and play this game a little bit and see how we come out on the other end. It's gonna be very telltale here very quickly. Ryan's behind me, Kyle's in front. This is freaking awesome. I'm having a blast.
Okay, the fate of this entire test lies on what's behind the view here. If there's one car, I think we'll be okay. Nope, there's a Rivian and an Ioniq charging. I have the battery preconditioning, and there's, oh, we're screwed. Oh my God, and 2 EVs in line. Let's see what's gonna happen here, but nothing good. So we're gonna go queue up in line over here, and the Tesla's gonna win. There's just no way around it, unless we can really claw back some time, and maybe I can negotiate with some of these people and say like, hey, how much can we pay you to jump the line? I don't know. This is going to be a disaster. Oh, well, and this is what I've been saying. It's not always about the car. It's about the car and the infrastructure. So this is a real pain. So the Ioniq 5 just unplugged, and here comes the Audi e-tron pulling in. The R1T looking great with the bikes on the top. Red Canyon, love that color. We've heard both chargers are actually operating at about 50 kilowatts. So that's super bummer. Another R1T with bikes here, this one in limestone, my favorite color actually. So this is great to see. And the Lucid, and then of course Ryan's going to be behind me in the Taycan. So now it's a race between the Lucid and the Taycan, because Tesla infrastructure is just going to smoke us. Well, since we are stuck here, I'm not going to keep the battery preconditioning. I can hear the fans ripping on this thing, and if they're only doing 50 kilowatts, there's no reason to even precondition. Again, we only ran it for a tiny bit. So there we go, spinning down. What a bummer. Well, mega update here, guys. Kyle will definitely show you what's going on, but we are 8.3 miles away, and he just texted me this. Looks like there's a line at the EA station. Ryan says, oh, we're hosed. Oh boy. Well, this is going to be very interesting. So I got to get a good charge here. Also notice I've got my little companion here, my wet towel. If you know, you know. So we're going to be handle wrapping this V2, try and get as much juice out as possible and see how far we can beat these boys, because that is no good for them. We are bringing in this gap right now. So, wow, this is going to be interesting, guys. So the situation is looking grim. The Audi just plugged in. They said it's going to be a while. They were getting 37 kilowatts. This Rivian has been here for 39 minutes, is at 36%. There's a Mustang Mach-E pulling in behind me, which means Ryan's going to have to go behind them. And it's just kind of a true disaster here. So we are completely hosed. So now it's really a race between Lucid and Taycan. We know Model S is going to win, but that race could still be on. Let's see what happens. Well, I'm just going to sit in the car, crank on the AC, and enjoy waiting here. There's nothing else we can do. There's no fast chargers for 100 miles in either direction other than the Tesla supercharger, which is right down the road with plenty of open stalls. And yeah, this site has been a disaster for months and months and months, and Electrify America would not do a thing about it. And now we're, yeah, completely hosed. Just crazy.
Oh boy, this is gonna be interesting. So we've got to pick which one we can go here. So 3A, 1B, 2B. Gosh dang, I don't know here, guys. All right, let's get as much juice as we can in here. Full station here, folks. So we've got the wet rag on here. Let's see what we've got going. All right, climb it off. 112, 137, 142, 143. So that looks like we're kind of maxed out here. I don't know if we're sharing here. These are all over the place. Wow. So we're charging, Kyle's waiting, Ryan's gonna be waiting. So this is our race to lose at this point for the Model S. So I think we're gonna go right up until right at 50%. We're gonna play around with this and see what we can do to get to Salina and charge it.
And here comes Ryan pulling in right now. He was maybe 20 minutes behind me, something like that. I feel like I'm just getting here. Let's go talk to Ryan. We'll shut climate control off. We'll see how much juice he has in the battery.
We made it to Green River with 7% left, and we had 3.3 miles per kilowatt hour, so pretty solid. Unfortunately, we've got this situation, and it looks like both chargers are limited to about 100 amps, so we'll be here for a long while. We can just sit down, buckle in, hang out a bit. I think the plan going forward, since Kyle is here too, obviously Coleton will win since he doesn't have to deal with this mess, but since we're both stuck in this, I think the plan will be for both of us to leave here at about the same time and see who can get to Vegas first.
Yeah, we might do a restart on the race from here between Taycan and Lucid and blast over. So we'll come up with the scheme for part 2, but stay tuned. We got part 2 coming. We know Colton's got this in the bag unless he didn't run out of juice, unless he runs out of juice in the future. Anything could happen. Yeah, this car still charges like a monster.
It's been great.
So up until now.
Yep.
The boys are down at the EA station down there, and yeah, it sounds like it's going to be close to an hour before Kyle even gets to plug in the Lucid. Then there's a Mach-E behind Kyle, and then Ryan. So really not looking good for them. My plan, again, so Salina here has a 4-stall Electrify America station at a Love's. Kyle loves that place, says it's amazing. Keep looking on Electrify America. It does not show any full stations. Now that could be a false flag. We know how Electrify America can be, but I think I'm gonna push my luck on that. So I'm gonna give myself a little bit of a buffer here just because we have the extra time. We've got big elevation gains. We've got high speeds with Utah, 85 miles an hour. So we should be good to go here any minute now. We're at 52%. Let's give it a little bit longer and we'll get on our way to Salina. So I gave myself a huge buffer here. Sounds like we're gonna change up the plan now. I'm gonna head over to the Electrify America station just down the road. I've got 65% state of charge to go 107 miles, should be good to go. Does look like we've got some weather coming over there, so that's why I gave myself the extra buffer. Not sure exactly what the plan is totally yet, but Kyle said head over to EA, we'll talk about it and get her figured out.
So what do you say we end part 1 of Race to Vegas here? We've learned that the Lucid has incredible range and it really needs a better charging network to support it. So Lucid, switch to Tesla. Tesla, support 1,000 volts on V3. It's needed because there's no way EVs are going to work if this is the experience. I mean, this is why I own the Model S. For when I really have to get somewhere, I just know I can get there on the supercharger network. So part 2 is going to be interesting because we know the Model S is going to be out of the question. But now it comes down to Taycan versus Lucid. And of course, we'll compile all the data at the end. So I'll leave you here in this video. Anything could happen at this point. I have had started negotiations with some of the people here. So we might still be in the running. I'll let you know. See you on the next race to Vegas, the part 2. This is, you know, this is the experience. This is the EV road trip experience right here, firsthand. What a disaster. We probably should have stopped in Grand Junction and bit the bullet and then stretched it to Salina. I don't even know if that would have been possible. I don't know. Either way, Coleton's gonna have some nice beers in Vegas, unless he runs out of juice or does something crazy. Anything can happen. See you on the next one. We'll post it very soon. Bye-bye. Well, guys, you can see how in the beginning of the video I said this was a bit of a disaster. And if you made it this long, I really appreciate you watching. I really hope you guys stick around for part 3. Truly, that's going to be the real epic story. I think we got our filming in line. We optimized the cars, and it was crazy. So definitely stick around. Part 2 is also going to be interesting because what we did was we all left Green River together. We basically scrapped Race to Vegas, and we started all together in Green River. So part 2 is also really interesting. We learn a lot about the cars, and I think you'll see some surprising results there. And then part 3 is the real actual Race to Vegas. So you're watching our failures in real time, and then you'll be with us for the return. Thanks for watching another Out of Spec Motoring video. We're going to get these edited real quick for you guys, and they'll be up in just a matter of days. Bye-bye.